My presentation will deal with procedural justice in the jurisprudence of the Constitutional Tribunal of Poland. I'll discuss in it the definition of procedural justice, its components, its role, and its relation to the right to a court, and also the components of the right to a court. Procedural justice is one of the principles of a democratic rule of law state, which was not explicitly enumerated in Article 2 of the Polish Constitution. Yet it may be recognized as a principle deriving from the rule of law state, because what follows from the content of a democratic rule of law state is, among others, the obligation to create a mechanism of effective legal protection from all actions of organs of state authority, as well as the obligation to guarantee fair and equal procedures. Guaranteeing respect for procedural justice serves to attain the aim and the essence of the formal rule of law state. That is, to create organizational and procedural premises which will make it difficult to abuse power vis-à-vis individuals. Procedural justice is specified in Article 45 of the Polish Constitution, and it takes the form of an individual right to a fair court procedure. For this reason, the right to a court and the principle of the rule of law state remain linked with each other. So first, let's discuss the right to a court. The Constitutional Tribunal distinguishes four elements of the right to a court. The first one is the right to access the court. That is, the right to initiate proceedings before the court. This is the possibility to ask the court in every situation to determine the legal status of individuals in situations where their rights and freedoms are challenged or violated. It also refers to situations where individuals experience uncertainty or the lack of clarity, or where they fear that such violence might take place. What corresponds to the right to this right is the obligation of the court to examine such a case. The second element is the right to a court procedure that is properly formed in accordance with the requirements of justice and openness. A fair examination of the case means the application of a fair procedure, that is, one which should provide the parties to proceedings with procedural rights that are in proportion to the subject of the pending proceedings. The requirement of a fair procedure requires, namely, that its principles be adjusted to the specificities of the cases under examination. In turn, an open examination of the case means the right of the audience to come to the hearing. The requirement of openness refers to all stages of court proceedings, apart from the deliberation of judges before adjudicating. Also, openness constitutes an additional guarantee of impartial operation of the court. And according to the Constitutional Tribunal, the openness of the hearing also means openness to the parties, that is, allowing the parties to act in court proceedings. And the third element is the right to a judgment delivered by the court. That is, the right to obtain a binding determination of the case. And the last element is the right to a proper formation of the organizational structure and position of organs examining cases. And now, let's move on to the values of procedural justice. So the first one is the possibility to be heard, that is, the possibility to at least present one's arguments and to submit motions as to evidence. The second value of procedural justice is disclosing in a clear manner the reasons for the determination. So this prevents from unlimited freedom and arbitrariness of the court. And it is thus necessary for the court to deliver a well-reasoned determination. And drafting the statement of reasons enforces self-restraint on the adjudicating body, which has to prove that the determination is correct substantially and formally, and that it corresponds to the requirements of justice. It also strengthens the sense of social trust and democratic overview of the state's action and contributes to legal safety. What's also recognized by the Constitutional Tribunal as a value of procedural justice is the possibility to appeal against determinations issued in first instance. According to the Tribunal, a measure of appeal must be available. So taking advantage of it should depend on the party's will, and it may not be overly complicated. And secondly, such a measure must be effective. This means that it must provide a real possibility to review a determination delivered in first instance, and a possibility to quash or amend it. What's also a vital part of procedural justice is reviewing the case without unjustifiable delay. However, guaranteeing this value in given proceedings may not be assessed in an abstract way. Delay may only be assessed with regard to a specific case, having regard for its character, regulations of a specific procedure, and the level of complexity and other circumstances of the case. And the next value, or values of procedural justice derived from the jurisprudence of the Constitutional Tribunal are the predictability of proceedings, equality of procedural rights that are available to the parties of proceedings, and openness as a principle. And additionally, with regard to the court procedure, the Tribunal indicated the requirement for impartiality and independence of the court. Procedural justice plays a vital role in the prevention from arbitrariness of the state's actions. Hence, it constitutes an important component of the rule of law and an element of a democratic rule of law state, both as regards the enactment and application of law. Respect for procedural justice reflects the functioning of the axiological system adopted by the state. It's also noteworthy that negating procedural justice would lead to the negation of the very basis of the axiology of law, or the values of a rule of law state. Also, according to the Tribunal, in every situation where legal provisions allow the interference of a state organ with individual rights, what should be guaranteed is the review of that interference by the court. In a rule of law state, access to justice administered by common and extraordinary courts has been recognized by the Tribunal as one of the most fundamental guarantees of respect for citizens' rights. The Tribunal has also reminded of the social functions of a fair court procedure. And such a procedure is particularly significant for the formation of citizens' trust in the justice system, and it strengthens the sense of respect for their rights. And that would be the end of this presentation. I hope you've learned something new about procedural justice shaped by the Constitutional Tribunal of Poland. Thank you.